Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Heather Abbott. I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. And it is May. Happy May, everybody. Love these new beginnings. And it is a typical May shower morning here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Lovely rains. Dusty's talk title today is The Inner Landscape, and I just love the quote that we're going to be reading during service. So I had to look up the author that the quote is from, and her name is Marilyn Hager, and she wrote a book, Finding the Wild Inside, Exploring Our Inner Landscape Through the Arts, Dreams, and Intuition, which I think is all fascinating and worthy areas to explore in your lives. In an interview that someone did with her, she said that she appreciated the quote from the potter M.C. Richards in her book Centering, in which she wrote, all the arts we practice are apprenticeship. The big art is our life. When we witness our own unique creative responses, we discover who we are from the inside out. From there, it is just a small step to knowing that our creative essence is just a tiny piece of the much larger creative process that has manifested this wild, wonderful universe of which we are all a part. A deep sense of belonging enfolds us when we embrace this big picture, and it is a natural thing to ask the question, how can I give back? I invite you to contemplate how you can practice creativity today in some way that you enjoy, allowing your inner self to be joyful in that expression. I believe that joy can't help but bubble up and burst out in ways that blesses others. Now, if you would like to get comfortable in your chairs, plant your feet on the ground, relax your body. Let's do a couple deep breaths. And as the music comes in, I invite you to contemplate the reading today, and I will bring you back out in about 12 minutes. Namaste.
everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, whether you're joining us here at 4 Points by Sheridan or you've invited us into your homes through the power of live streaming. We're very glad that you have joined us today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being this community's spiritual director. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that really honors all paths and promotes global transformation through personal transformation. We're a spiritual community that can support you as you strive to really step powerfully into a personal relationship with God. A spiritual community where you are respected and accepted just for who you are. A space and place for inspiration, insight, and revelation, as well as loving support to grow into your highest and best self. No matter where you are on your spiritual path, you are absolutely welcome here. So again, thank you so very much for joining us. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global community of over 450 centers, teaching chapters, and special focus ministries in 35 countries across the world. Centers for Spiritual Living is a practical and positive philosophy, faith, and way of life that is dedicated to transforming lives by providing powerful spiritual principles and practices for our own individual lives and for exploring new possibilities to assist the world to become a world that works for all. So once again, we are so very grateful to have you there. We have these beautiful, beautiful flowers here this morning. And today's flower dedication is, as it is on the first Sunday of every month, an opportunity for us to celebrate people whose birthdays are in this month. So who of you has a birthday in the month of May? Yeah. So a couple of people, and perhaps there's more of you out there. So we can't say everybody's name without missing some of them, and because I don't want to miss some of them, we're just going to say that we're celebrating all of you. So I would love for everyone to reach your hands out, just out into the world, and repeat after me for all of the May birthday people. We see you. We know who you really are. We celebrate the day that you arrived on the planet. We're grateful for your presence in our community. And we love you. So please, let's join Sandy as he plays the happy birthday song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hey. Happy birthday to you.
High from my 1 octave range. Oh, so today, as we always do, we will be celebrating Lunch Bunch, which is an opportunity to really celebrate everyone's birthday who is in May, a chance to come together to break bread together and just enjoy each other outside of the church experience. So please let Heather or myself know if you plan on joining us, and we will promise to let you know where we're going. In this moment, we don't exactly know. So we will let you know for sure. I also wanted to say that May is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Now, initially, Jimmy Carter signed a joint resolution for the celebration of Asian Pacific Islanders on October 5th, 1978. On May 1st, 2009, President Barack Obama signed Proclamation 8369, recognizing the month of May as Asian American and Pacific Island Heritage Month. And then, on April 30th, 2021, President Joe Biden signed Proclamation 10189, recognizing the month of May as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, to just be more inclusive of all of those people. So during the month, countless communities celebrate the achievements and the contribution of these amazing people with community festivals, government-sponsored activities, and educational activities for students. So please join with our community as we recognize the contributions and influence of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of the United States. So thank you. Thank you all so very much. We appreciate you. And one last thing is today is May 5th. And what does that mean? Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. So it's a day to formally celebrate Mexican heritage and culture. Cinco de Mayo commemorates Mexico's victory over the French Empire in 1862. In the U.S., it has become a celebration of Mexican-American culture and heritage and an opportunity to be truly festive. Have a margarita or something. So congratulations to all Mexican-Americans today. And lastly, I would like to thank Heather Abbott for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. So thank you very much, Heather. And now please stand and join us as we sing our opening congregational song, You and Me, by Eddie Watkins, Jr.
Oh, yeah. One light shining at you and me. One love loving at you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living at you and me. One light shining at you and me. One love loving at you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living at you and me. One light shining at you and me. One love loving at you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living at you and me. One light shining at you and me. One love loving at you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout. One life living at you and me. One light shining at you and me. One love loving at you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living at you and me. One light shining at you and me. One love loving at you and me. 'Cause God is all there is.
Everybody, okay, and we just have a few announcements this morning we would like to make. Okay, our Wednesday evening service throughout 2024 are called Beyond Sunday. Please join us at 7 on Zoom. The link is available on our Wednesday newsletter or on our website. During the month of May, you're invited to join us as we dive deeply into the inspiration of Karen Walren's book, The Light Maker's Manifesto, How to Work for Change Without Losing Your Joy. Licensed practitioner Carol Cross will be facilitating the conversations. In The Light Maker's Manifesto, Walren helps us name the skills, values, and actions that bring us joy, identify the causes that speak our empathy and concern, and then put it all together to change the world. With stories from around the world and wisdom from those leading movements for change, Walren beckons readers towards lives of integrity, advocacy, conviction, and joy. By unearthing our passions and gifts, we learn how to joyfully advocate for justice, peace, and liberation. We learn how to become makers of light. Around reading the book is not, although reading the book is not required, I encourage you to consider checking it out.
And speaking of Wednesday evenings, mark your calendar for the last Wednesday of the month for a special Fifth Wednesday movie night. The event will be held at the Lodge at Crossroads. Join us at 6:30 for fellowship with the movie to start at 7. Bring a snack to share if you wish and a beverage of your choice. While the event is free, love donations are always welcome. Watch for future announcements for the movie reveal.
Okay? And number 3, Spirit Speak Boutique, owned and operated by our beloved member, Eileen Proctor, is partnering with TCSL to make available a line long-sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies in a variety of colors. The garments have our logo on the front. I don't see anybody with one today. Have our logos on the front and a powerful affirmation statement on your back. A portion of all sales is being donated back to TCSL. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Eileen at spiritspeakboutique@gmail.com or 919-526-0206.
This announcement is about our annual Wise Women's Tea, which will once again be held on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12th. The event is for women of all ages who would love to come together to share wisdom with each other. There will, of course, be tea, small bite, fruit, cheese, and chocolate. The event will be held here at 4 Points by Sheraton from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Come to church, have lunch with your family, and come back to join us for this amazing event. Please register at info@trianglecsl.org. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you to our resident power couple, Larry and Sean Shockey. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Happy May. The theme for the year 2024 is a grand rising. Our theme for the month of May is good to great to grand. That's fun to say. Reverend Dusty's message is the inner landscape. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Now is the time in our service where we will do a little centering, so I invite you to get comfortable in your seats, close your outer eyes if you're comfortable, turn within, open your heart and mind, and prepare yourself for the amazing message to follow. Now I welcome you to bring your attention back into the room. Thank you for taking that moment. Now please welcome Joe and Michelle Nowak, who will be assisting us this morning in our Blessing of All Faith ceremony. Thank you both. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. So it is. Thank you. I now invite you to turn within once again as I speak a word of blessing on today's service. So grateful in this moment to recognize that one source, that one spirit, that one power back of all of creation. Grateful for that source of love, of peace and joy. Grateful for all the ways that we see it in our world, through nature, through the eyes of our beloveds, through that cool rain, through these moments of community. It is all God. I'm so grateful to know that I am one with all of that there is no separation between who I am and who Spirit is. I am fueled, funded, and sourced in every conceivable way by that one power. And with gratitude this morning, I speak blessings on our beloved community, each person that makes it up, each member, each visitor, each person that is on their individual spiritual path, that find us and contribute to who we are in the world. So grateful for each person that's here at 4 Points this morning, each person that's watching us online, each person that will watch in the future. Blessing each and every one in their lives and in their paths. So grateful for Ava and Martin on AV this morning. Grateful for Sandy as he comes forth with his music and blesses us with each song. Grateful to Amy for her service to our community, coming in and helping us set up the room. So very grateful to Reverend Dusty for her presence in our community, her strength and love for us. So very grateful for CSL at large, for its support, for its guidance, for each center and chapter that are gathering, and each person in those communities, all of us working towards a world that works for all and blessing that world. knowing peace, knowing love. For all these blessings, I am so grateful. And I ask you to anchor this prayer with me by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Today's reading, which I did not bring the sheet for, one second. Did somebody text me? Thanks. Today's reading is from The Wild Inside by Marilyn Hager. She says, today's world urges us to look outward for life's meaning and purpose, but our inner lives are the true source of the deeper knowing that gives life meaning. We can discover the creative place inside us that knows there is more to life than we are currently living. It is the less rational part of ourselves that I call our wild inside. Through playing in the arts, contemplating our nightly dreams, fostering our intuition, and reconnecting to Mother Nature, we can discover our own authentic wild self. Opening to this part of ourselves isn't so much a search as it is a listening, a curiosity, a playfulness, and a learning how to think symbolically, all of which can be cultivated. Most of all, it takes a willingness to lay down our egos and open ourselves to the awe and wonder of the wild universe of which we are a part. And now, speaking of wild, please help me in welcoming to the stage our wonderful Sandy Hemingway.
Thank you. This is a song that I wrote a number of years ago. It's called Where the Sand Meets the Sea. Every soul has a purpose hidden on a distant shore, so we search to find our meaning as we sail through each new storm. Though the ocean of our doubts surround us, we must hold on fast to what we dream, till the day we find peace, where the sand meets the sea. Every life is a journey, teaching us what we must know. Like a ship, we sail its waters, but we don't know where we'll go. Though the ocean of our hopes are endless, we must hold on fast to what we dream, till the day we find peace, where the sand meets the sea. Every heart is a fountain filled with love for us to give. Through our dreams, we find our purpose. Through our gifts, we fully live. When we open up to our potential, and we go to where there is a need, there's an ocean of fulfillment out there, and a golden treasure we'll receive. On that day, we'll find peace where the sand meets the sea. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sandy. Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome to those of you who may have just arrived in the sanctuary or turned on your computers at home. The theme for the month of May is Good to Great to Grand. And my talk title today is The Inner Landscape. Now, in order for us to build on this idea of good to great to grand, I believe that we have to have a conversation about this idea of the inner landscape so that we are all on the same page as we begin this month. With that in mind, I invite each of you to think for just a moment about your lives. If somebody were to ask you, how's it going? What do you tell them? What do you tell them? Do you usually share something about your circumstances or about your experiences or about your relationships? Do you share some of the challenges that you are going through, or do you share some of the good that has happened to come your way? Now, all of these are a part of our outer life, a life that we all participate in quite actively. We feel happiness, joy, sorrow, agony, frustration, and many other emotions as a result of what is going on around us, our surroundings, and what we think about them, what we tell ourselves about them. But isn't life more than that? Don't we know at a gut level that behind and underneath all of that stuff is something deeper? Something that's still us, something that's still part of our life, and yet is really not very readily visible. The bottom line is that there is a whole aspect of our experience of living that is really private and personal and lies deep within us. This is what is meant by our inner landscape. Our inner landscape is our deepest experience of being a human being. It encompasses our stories, it encompasses our personal sense of identity. It is also where we experience God's presence. It is where we experience our connection with our highest self. It's the sanctuary at the heart of our being. Our inner landscape finds expression in our private thoughts and the emotions that we have in our intuition and in our private thoughts that we have about ourselves, about each other, and about the world surrounding us. It's those aspects of ourselves that are not directly observable. The side of us that perhaps only we know, or a small group of people that we might have shared some of those things with. It's the wellspring of our life. The wellspring of our life, the part of our experience that actually matters the most. And it matters the most because it shapes everything else. It shapes how we see and how we relate to God. It shapes how we see and how we relate to ourselves and to others. It shapes how we see and relate to the world. Like a spring or a river, small river, every other part of our life and our experiences of that life flows from there. It really flows from that inner landscape. And if we want our life to be different than what it is, or our world to be different than what it is, this is where we need to turn our attention first and foremost. This Sunday, the first Sunday of the month, right, becomes the starting point of our movement this month from good to great to grand. By actively diving into our own inner landscapes, we gain greater insight and awareness into our thoughts, into our emotions, and into our beliefs. In order to do this, we are diving very deeply over over today and other things over the rest of the month, but today specifically, we're diving deeply into observation, curiosity, and discovery. Observation, curiosity, and discovery. And when we embrace these three ideas, we create a space for continued evolution and transformation for ourselves and ultimately for the world. We gain a deeper understanding of the infinite possibilities that are available to each and every single one of us, each and every single day. So we'll begin with observation. Now, observation is a simple but very necessary practice for our transformation. Through observation, we become really attuned to the intricacies of our inner landscape, unveiling the hidden beliefs, or the hidden thoughts, or the hidden fears, or the hidden desires that actually shape our lives enables us to be able to make conscious choices. Not just to react, but to be able to make conscious choices and to align ourselves with the divinity that is within us. Eckhart Tolle talks about something he calls ordinary unconsciousness. Ordinary unconsciousness. And he says, what I call ordinary unconsciousness means being identified with your thought processes and emotions, your reactions, desires, and aversions. It is most people's normal state. In that state, it is that state when you are run by the egoic mind and you are unaware of being. Right? So because it's our normal state, we may not even know or be aware of it, but it shows up like a continuous low level of uneasiness or of boredom or of discontent or nervousness or loneliness or unhappiness. It's not a state of really acute pain or acute depression, but really more of a background noise that's just constantly there. He describes it much like the continuous low-level hum of an air conditioner. And he says that you only become aware of it when it stops. And when it stops, there's a sense of relief. Right? It is our habitual resistance to or denial of what is that really creates this ordinary unconsciousness. It's always linked in some way to the denial of the here and now. Complaining is a great example of this resistance, of this ordinary unconsciousness, as well as stress, worry, resentment, or having the past take up too much of our time and our attention. And sitting there, we can all remember times. We've all been there. It's ordinary. It's ordinary unconsciousness. That low hum that's always there, right? Unconsciously. So the question is, how can we be free of this affliction? I'm going to tell you. So the answer is, make it conscious. Make it conscious. Eckhart Tolle says anything conscious dissolves when you shine the light of consciousness upon it. Anything unconscious dissolves when you shine the light of consciousness upon it. So the invitation is to monitor our mental and emotional levels or states through this idea of self-observation. And the way to do that is to begin to observe all of the different ways in which we feel uneasy. All of the different ways in which we feel discontent. All of the different ways in which tension arises within us. The invitation is to be the witness of our thoughts and our emotions. Become aware of what is going on within us. To observe it, to notice when we're standing in unnecessary judgment or worry or doubt or complaining or stress or waiting. To recognize our resistance to what is. Observation empowers us to really be able to detach from limiting beliefs and the stories that we tell ourselves, and to really be able to embrace our true nature. Eckhart Tolle says, be at least as interested in what is going on inside of you as to what happens on the outside. If you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. I love that. Get the inside right, and the outside will fall into place. And when we bring more consciousness into our everyday lives, we vibrate at a higher level. And by vibrating at a higher level, we bring more and more higher level things into our lives. In this journey from good to great to grand, observation becomes a very, very powerful tool in our lives. Observation. Next, we'll take a little deeper dive into curiosity. Now, curiosity is a catalyst. It's a catalyst for growth and for expansion as we begin to pay more attention to our inner landscape. Curiosity grows our awareness. It sparks our imagination. It expands our consciousness. It really up-levels and builds our mental equivalence, and it opens us to receive more of God's good. Curiosity as a superpower can really transform our lives both individually and collectively. When we begin to really approach life with an open and a curious mind, we invite new experiences, new ideas, and new perspectives into our existence. Curiosity encourages us to question, to explore, and to really find meaning in our lives. It invites us to embark on a journey of self-discovery, delving into the depths of ourselves and others, and exploring the layers of our systems of thoughts and beliefs that we have within us, that we've created within us, that we've hung on to for a very long time. By nurturing our curiosity, we remain receptive to the experience of life. And it really allows us to evolve and to transform in so many really wonderful and amazing ways. Through our willingness to stay curious, even when it might be challenging, and you'll probably find it very often is, we unlock the doors to wisdom, to insight, and to profound spiritual truths that we didn't even think were possible in our lives. And all of this propels us towards an expression of our most authentic selves. Now, there are many different practical ways to use curiosity to be able to expand and enrich our lives, but one example is curiosity about ourselves, right? Cultivating curiosity in our relationship with ourselves can assist us to develop this self-awareness and self-understanding, something that many of us don't have any idea about. This approach can support us in being more honest and more authentic with ourselves when it comes to really having conversations with other people about our thoughts, about our emotions, about our needs, and about our desires. I can remember times in my life when just the way that I grew up, I really could walk into any situation and say, I don't really even know what it is I want, because it was so important for me to be able to be sure that I was people-pleasing everybody all of the time, and I don't even know what I want. I couldn't pick out a couch for my own living room without asking somebody's opinion. So the invitation is to be curious about ourselves, to do the inner work, to be aware of what lies beneath the surface, because I'm telling you what, you are going to know by what outpictures in your world. And you may not want that outpicturing in your world, but if you would have known about it beforehand, you could have changed things. So the important thing is to just know what's below the surface of your own self. And to do so, to really be able to do so with compassion and without a lot of self-criticism. To really have compassion. If we knew better, we would do better. And by doing that inner work and finding out what's underneath that surface, we'll be able to do better. And the second example is curiosity about others. Every single one of us has a story. And it's so very often that in our different interactions with people, we usually only see one side or one aspect of a person. And perhaps it's not even something that we got from them, but it's something that we've made up on our own, right? We're good at that. We're meaning-making machines. So we can use curiosity to get to know those around us better and to take our relationships to a deeper place, to a deeper experience, to bring in more love, more joy. Now, I'm sure that everyone would agree that our experience of our current polarizing times have been and continues to be kind of hard, kind of demanding. And if we were to be completely honest with ourselves, we all struggle at different times to really be able to like or to understand or to respect each other. We see this with people that we have history with. We see it with people that we're related to. We see it with people that we love. And we see it probably more often with people that don't think or believe like we do. And yet we all live on this earth together. And in order to survive, we have to figure out how to do it and how to get along. We have to figure out a different way of being with each other, or we're never going to be able to survive. We have to figure out how to bridge what divides us. So the invitation is to be curious about each other, to lay aside our assumptions, to lay aside our belief that we think we know everything we need to know about the person that's sitting across from us, to lay aside our judgments about who we think they are. The invitation is to be open enough to actually sit down with one another for as long as it takes, and to share from our hearts and not from our fear. To be curious enough to ask the deeper questions, and open and receptive enough to really listen to the answers, even though they may be not something that we agree with. Even though. There is a lot of work that needs to be done if we are to truly create a world that works for all. And curiosity is one of the superpowers that will assist us to do that. And lastly, we explore discovery, and more specifically, self-discovery. So in 1988, I moved to California from Minnesota, where I was born and raised. And I moved for what I believed at the time to be a pretty good reason: love. Good as any, right? So not long after I arrived, however, I found myself in crisis. I experienced at a very deep level and awareness that while I had what I would have considered to be a very good life, that I really had a big, deep, dark hole in the center of my being. What was true was that really I had grown up with no idea about who I was. Again, this idea of trying to be what everybody else needed me to be. I didn't really know who I was, and I didn't know how to express that. There was something that was seeking to be expressed through me in that fall of 1988, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about an inner landscape. I grew up with really no formal, traditional religious upbringing. So I had really no idea about God. I had no idea about our inner landscape being the wellspring of our beingness. I wouldn't have even known those words. Right? And so in that moment of being in crisis, right, I really surrendered. And I really chose in that moment that I needed to figure out who I was, that I needed to go on some journey of self-discovery. Because while it was a good life, it wasn't a great life, and it wasn't a grand life, because I had that hole. And so this adventure of self-discovery was basically an act or a process of discovering who I am, or for each of us, who we are, right? It's a process of achieving understanding about why we're here. Who am I and what am I doing here? Now, some might describe it as an inner pilgrimage, whereby we attempt to really understand and discover, perhaps, and understand how we feel personally, rather than really following the opinions, of which there are many, of our family and our friends and our coworkers and our teachers, or race consciousness in general. So exploring our inner landscape, we uncover our hidden beliefs, and we begin to really be able to see and to sift through our false identities. Self-discovery can mean many different things. It can mean really digging deep into our childhoods and perhaps really uncovering or revealing the experiences that have shaped us throughout our lives. That story that I told myself as a 5-year-old girl, that I had to be perfect, or the people in my life, the people that I loved, the people that I needed, the people that I relied on were going to leave me. And so I became a people pleaser. It can mean realizing what our beliefs are and being able to call them into question. To be able to really throw out those that are no longer working for us anymore, and to be able to begin to live into our new beliefs. New beliefs that actually raise us up or sustain us in a really powerful and loving way. It can assist us to help find meaning in our lives. The effect of self-discovery can really include happiness or joy, fulfillment, clarity, peace, and maybe even a little enlightenment. The journey of self-discovery or self-awareness is not always an easy one. Not going to lie to you, I had many fits and starts on mine. Many times when it felt I was like running backwards. The moment we begin to search within, we might feel confused or doubtful or fearful or even angry. A lot of what we once thought was important proves to be quite pointless. And we may question our entire lives. Remember, I said with compassion and not with self-criticism. The truth is that our minds cannot handle the uncertainty surrounding ourselves and our lives that we have been living. We need to believe in something. But until we embark on this journey of self-discovery, we will not really be able to know the totality of our inner selves. And without knowing the totality of our inner selves, what is the something that we believe in? The journey requires us to make some tough choices at times. We may have to let go of the beliefs that we held on to for so long. And if I'm not that, who am I? Right? We may have to let go of the labels that we have used and have clung to. And sometimes we have to let go of the people that are holding us back. We may have to peel back our layers of defense mechanisms and risk losing all of the false beliefs and habits that compose our identity. Sometimes in that moment, it's hard to say good riddance. It is good riddance, but sometimes it's hard. Many people, if they find themselves, somewhat content, it's a good life. It's a good life. And they find themselves somewhat content, and they're not really willing to do the work. They're not really willing to take that journey. And that's okay. That's really okay. It's said sometimes that people who have become really frustrated, dissatisfied, disappointed, or spiritually disenchanted enough with their lives or the world around them will choose to do this work. And that's where I found myself in the winter of 1988. I had no idea what that entailed. Really, I had no idea. I had no idea what I needed or what I needed to do or what I needed to be or where to go next. So like I said, a lot of fits and starts, but it's a grand life now. It's a grand life. The process of self-discovery brings us to our true nature and to living our true potential in a really fearless and abundant way. In a way that allows us to live lives that are more joyful and more fulfilled. lives that are filled with better relationships and more peak experiences, and who doesn't want that? This process of self-discovery allows us to really examine and connect with our inner landscape. It allows us to turn away from the world of form and all of the things that tend to distract us and take us away from ourselves and the truth of who we are at our very core, who each and every single one of us is at our very core. When we do so, we are able to see and to recognize and to align ourselves with the divinity that is within us. And then, right, we take care of the inside, and the outside will fall into place. The outside will take care of itself. So although it might not always be easy, by allowing ourselves to be open to embracing these ideas and the power of observation and curiosity and discovery, we view our own inner landscape with a fresh perspective. And we open the door to limitless possibilities. This process calls us to explore the depths of our being and to untangle the layers of identity and false beliefs that may no longer serve us. Through this untangling, we can embrace the transformative potential that lies within us. And with each discovery, we become, it's a practice, right? We become better and better and better to courageously step towards living from our own authenticity and moving from good to great to grand. And so it is. And so it is. Oh, so I just invite everyone to turn within for a moment, to allow ourselves to turn away from that outer world, to turn our attention to our inner landscape. That inner landscape that is totally the truth of who we are, that inner landscape that is the presence of the divine itself. And to know that as we do so, we have this palpable experience of that presence. We have a palpable experience of who we really are. And we can begin to do what is necessary to be able to powerfully step into that again and again and again until it becomes not only the inner landscape, but the outer landscape of our lives, because then we bring it forward through our beliefs, through our thoughts, through our actions. And we do so consciously because no longer are we really at the whim of that ordinary unconsciousness. We are aligned with our divinity. We are aligned with who we really are. That space and place within us that can never be broken. We are truly connected to it forever and ever. It is only our hesitancy to look towards it, to align with it, to be one with it, to surrender to it, that allows us to witness it as a separation. And so I claim ease and grace for each of us about doing the work to really discover and understand and align with that inner landscape, to make the choice to let go of anything that is unlike that, not only in ourselves, but in everyone else, to be in a state of observation willing to see what it is within us when we feel unease, when we feel disconnected, when we feel discontent, when we feel unsteady, like we're on sand or moving ground. What is it within me? What do I believe? What is the story I'm telling about myself? And to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that as we shine the light of consciousness upon that thing, that we bring it into focus, that we can heal it and shift it. To be curious about ourselves and others, to not allow ourselves to just simply be who we've always been because it's easier to do so. To know that we can become and move towards our highest and best self, little by little over time, by being curious about who that is. To be curious about each other. To really be able to sit down for as long as it takes to know that person sitting across from us. To lose or dissolve our preconceived notions and ideas and judgments, and to really know them even when it's hard, even when they don't believe exactly as we believe. There's room enough for all of us, or we wouldn't be here. To be willing to do that self-discovery. To know that as we do so, we really assist to create that world that works for all. That we have to do it from the inside out. And that we have choice in the matter. And so I claim ease and grace for each and every single one of us around living that life. Moving from good to great to grand in a really powerful and magnificent way, in a way that raises up ourselves and everyone else around us. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and I release them into the action of the law, letting go and letting God be God. I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. So it is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. And this is the time every week when we offer this community our financial support, which allows us to continue to be a beacon of love and warmth and strength and light in the Greater Triangle area. Together we affirm that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. Please assist me as we do our offering affirmation. Well, first let me tell you how we can do this. That'd probably be a good idea, right? So there's 3 ways, and you can visit our website at www. They tell me I don't need to say that every time, but trianglecsl.org. You can text the word GIVE to the following number, 919-629-9148, or you can mail your gift to our office at PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. Now, please place your hand on your hearts with your gift or with an affirmation for yourself or for this community, and we'll say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude knowing that God is my source. And so it is. Thank you all so very much for your generous gifts. And now please let's give Sandy a warm welcome as he returns to his piano.
So this is a piece of music that I first played over 50 years ago. It's from Celebrate Life. And I haven't really pulled it out very often. I've always liked the song, but I haven't pulled it out often since I got into New Thought, because it sort of paints God as external, which generally we don't appreciate. But the other day I saw the movie Hello God, It's Me, Margaret. And I realized that, well, that would sound really weird if you said, hello me, it's me, Margaret. And it's just a convenience to think of the divine spark within us as external to give us something to move to. We can know that it's in there, but it's when we're trying to become a better version of us, it can be helpful to think in those terms, to move rather than stay where you are. And that, I think, really ties in with the concept of going from good to great to grand. This is I Quietly Turn to You. There was nowhere else to turn, and nowhere else to go. My body knew all the pain a body can know as I quietly turn to you. I quietly turn to you. Help of the helpless, I turn to you. When no one else would help, and no one else could hear my cries full of anguish, my cries full of fear. Then I quietly turn to you. I quietly turn to you. Hope of the hopeless, I turn to you. I saw you standing there. I saw the beauty from your beaming. I saw the peace, the joy, the perfect love that could be. I saw you standing there. I thought that I was only dreaming, for suddenly warmth and love and joy were shining through me as you quietly turned to me. You quietly turned to me. Friend of the friendless, you turned to me. Now I know such perfect peace. I feel such sweet release. Your love let me live again. Your love set me free. Help of the helpless, friend of the friendless. I quietly turned to you, and you turned to me, and you turned to me. Thank you.
So beautiful, Sandy. Thank you. If you would like prayer, or if you would like to do a flower dedication, you know what to do. Go to our website or send an email to info@trianglecsl.org. Now, please stand for our May affirmations. There are sheets on your chairs. You're welcome to take those home with you if you would like to know the affirmations for this month. And this is a call and response. Please repeat it with meaning. I am open and curious as I walk my path to my most authentic expression.
I am open and curious as I walk my path to my most authentic expression.
As I explore my inner landscape, I uncover the grandness that has always been there.
As I explore my inner landscape, I uncover the grandness that has always been there.
Through this exploration, I am able to untangle the layers of identity and beliefs that no longer serve me.
Through this exploration, I am able to untangle the layers of identity and beliefs that no longer serve me.
Doing so, I deepen my awareness and understanding of the values that are truly mine and open myself to a fresh perspective.
Doing so, I deepen my awareness and understanding of the values that are truly mine and open myself to a fresh perspective.
From this place, I choose to live from my values in ways that enhance my life and the world around me.
From this place, I choose to live from my values in ways that enhance my life and the world around me.
My outer life exists in alignment with the truth of my most authentic self.
My outer life exists in alignment with the truth of my most authentic self.
Through this process, I moved from good to great to grand.
Through this process, I move from good to great to grand.
And so it is. Woo, powerful. Please be seated if you'd like. Speak a word of gratitude for this grand day, all these grand people in my midst, and everyone that's watching online. Thank you so much for joining us today. So grateful in this moment for what has transpired, for the amazing reminders that Reverend Dusty has laid at our feet to ponder and chew on and take to heart over the coming week and over the coming month. Oh, so grateful. And so it is.
Ooh, thank you all so very much for being here today, for allowing us to join you in your homes. Thank you to all the volunteers that had anything to do with getting the space ready. Thank you, Sandy, for your beautiful music. Heather, for being the practitioner du jour. Ava and Martin. And I will tell you, we are going. I promised I would tell you. Didn't have to try to pick it out of the air, but we're going to Roots Bistro and Bar. And the address you can write down. And I'm telling you what, you have time to get there. If you're home, you know, we got to restore this room, so there's plenty of time to you jump in your car and to join us. 962B, 962B Airport Boulevard. It's very close to 4 Points by Sheridan, and that's in Morrisville. Roots Bistro and Bar. Are you proud of me that I didn't say roots? Roots. It's roots. 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 All right, so thank you all so very much. Have a really wonderful week. I love you all.